We are a group of 7 members taking a course in food science, nutrition, and technology. We shall be discussing about a mineral known as calcium under the course of principles of human nutrition. And I am Rose Chalangat, and the other group members are
Samuel Obiede,
Kennedy Onyango, Edward Mbugo,
I'm Vivian Kiget,
Faustin Nawara, Tobias Saduda.
Yes, those are our group members, and I shall be taking you through the introduction. That is, I shall be talking about what calcium is. Calcium is the divalent cation, and it is the most abundant mineral in the human body. It has several sources. Some of them include poultry products such as eggs. Then we have fruit tubers such as potatoes. Then we have dairy products such as milk, among others, which include also bread.
So you have that we have various sources of calcium, which ends up in various parts of the gastrointestinal tract for digestion. But calcium ends up in the small intestine where the absorption of calcium takes place. So after absorption, they are transported to the various parts of the body and some end up in the bone for storage. But the absorption of calcium after digestion is under the influence of various factors, and one of them is parathyroid hormones driven by the parathyroid gland. So when the level of calcium falls below the normal level in the extracellular fluid, the parathyroid hormone with the vitamin D influences increased absorption of calcium. Then you have also renal tubular reabsorption. But when the level of calcium is high in the extracellular fluid, the calcium receptors send the signal to the parathyroid gland where less of this is secreted. When less of this is secreted, it means that the level there is increased calcium loss through the urine, and others are transported to the bone for storage. Thank you.
Thank you, Kennedy. Once digestion of calcium has taken place, absorption of calcium normally takes place in the small intestine. For absorption to take place, it is normally influenced by 2 mechanisms, one of them being active transport and another one being passive diffusion. Once the amount of calcium being absorbed in the small intestine is normally dependent on vitamin D content in the case of active transport. We normally find that the amount of calcium being absorbed is directly proportional to the amount of vitamin D content in the blood, whereby amount being absorbed also tends to vary inversely when vitamin D content is less. Under the diffusion, passive diffusion, absorption normally tends to vary again, whereby when the calcium content in the blood is less, we normally find that absorption mechanism can only take place via the passive diffusion along the small intestine or across the small intestine in the body. On the other hand, amount of calcium being absorbed in the body or in human body tends to vary with other factors such as age, whereby we find that in adults, the amount of calcium being absorbed tends to be lower compared to the youth. For example, in adolescent stage, where normally absorption tends to be high. Another factor affecting calcium absorption is gender. We normally find that in males, absorption of calcium normally tends to be high compared. We normally find that absorption of calcium normally tends to vary with gender. For example, males, normally absorption of calcium is high due to rigorous activities like muscle contraction, which tend to be very high in males. Another factor affecting calcium absorption is normal amount required in the blood and the amount available in the diet. Once absorbed, the fate of calcium is now dependent on transportation, as will be discussed.
Thank you very much, Aduda. As we know, what happens after absorption? Definitely, they have to be transported to various parts of the body. And what is this that transport? Actually, it is the blood that transports from the small intestine to other parts of the body. And these other parts include the bones, because we've been told that bone is the main storage of calcium, especially that is for calcification of bones. But we learn that later. Apart from that, we have another very important hormone, that is the pyrothyroid hormone from the pyrothyroid gland. This hormone removes calcium stored in the bones. And this calcium, once it has been removed, the role of the blood is yet again to transport it to various parts of the body. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ross Jalagat. At this juncture, already now this calcium ion has been absorbed by the blood and has definitely been transported to the tissues. So I'm going to take you through various functions that this particular calcium ion helps in the body. As you all know, calcium ion is the most abundant ion in the body because it is gotten from most of the foods that we take, that we consume. Calcium ion contributes to almost 2% of the total body weight, and it helps in various basic functions within the body. One of the basic functions that the greater amount of calcium ion helps to take part in is it helps in the bone formation within the body, so that the skeletal structure and function is maintained within the body, so that you can obtain a skeletal structure and even the skeletal function can be facilitated. The second function of this particular, the remaining percent, we already talked about the 99% helping in the bone formation. So the remaining 1% is being distributed to various functions within the body. One of them being blood clotting. In the blood clotting mechanism, as you all know from the basic knowledge, there is the conversion of prothrombin to thrombin by the enzyme thromboplastin. For this mechanism to take place, or this process to be undertaken within the blood clotting mechanism, there must be presence of calcium ion. So that this particular process will only take place in the presence of calcium ion. That's the second most important function of calcium ion within the body. The third function of calcium ion within the body is it helps in the nerve impulse transmission. As you are all aware, nerve impulse transmission is very key to the body functions, so that the body functions are maintained in order. So in nerve impulse transmission, calcium ion helps in the production of neurotransmitters that actually help in the nerve impulse transmission. And also, for the normal transmission of these nerve impulses along the nerves, there must be abundant calcium ion within the body. The third function of the fourth function, of this particular ion in the body is it helps in membrane regulation. So that when I mention this, then I mean in the presence of calcium ion, then some other minerals or some other ions can be easily transported across the cell membrane. So it helps in maintaining the cell membrane structure for its function, so that these other ions can be easily transported across the cell membrane with ease. The fifth function of this particular calcium ion in the body is it helps in the control of diseases, and that's a very key factor. As you all know, there are various diseases that are associated with calcium ion or decreased amount of calcium ion in the body. we have like osteoporosis, can be controlled by taking adequate amounts of calcium in the diet. The other disease is systolic blood pressure, which can also be controlled by taking enough calcium ion in the body. The last function of calcium ion in the body is it helps in muscle contraction. So that in association with magnesium ions, calcium ion aids in the contraction of muscles in the body. Thank you.
Want to see the two diagrams. The upper one is how calcium is absorbed by different age groups. Like in adolescence, it is high in adolescence, and then followed by and then low in adults compared to the elderly. When we come to recommended rates, we found that infants require like 400 to 600 milligrams per day, and then 1 to 10 years require 800 milligrams per day. When we come to the age group, from 11-year-old to 25-year-old, they require 1,200 milligrams per day, and then over 25 years require 800 milligrams per day. We found that women have special needs for calcium. That is, when they are under menopause period, they require high amount of calcium because they lose an hormone in the body during menopause, which lowers the level of calcium in the body. And then during lactation and pregnancy, they require a lot of calcium. And then this can be characterized when a woman or a lady is pregnant, they lose appetite. I think that is the significance that they lack calcium in their body. You can take over.
Thanks a lot, my colleague Faustin. As I said earlier, I'm Edward. I'm going to take you through the problems associated with calcium deficiency in the body. The first problem is osteoporosis. This is a condition whereby you have weak bones, and subsequently you get bone fractures are very prevalent when this condition is, you have this condition of osteoporosis. Then, problem number 2 is osteomalacia. This is a condition whereby there are low levels of calcium in the blood plasma, and this is experienced mostly by women who have surpassed the age of menopause. Then, point number 3, calcium deficiency causes rickets, especially in children. Point number 4, there's tetany and calcium rigor, which is caused by low calcium intake, and this causes impairment of the nerve stimulation. Then, on the other point, low calcium intake causes low absorption of zinc and iron in the body, and then this causes subsequent problems that are caused by deficiency of zinc and iron. Then, calcium deficiency also causes low absorption of vitamin K in the body. And finally, too much calcium intake in the body causes a condition called hypercalcemia, and this can be controlled by intake of controlled amounts of calcium. Thanks a lot. Welcome, Rose.
Well, that has been our discussion on the mineral known as calcium. We have seen that calcium is a very important mineral in the body, and for more information, you may contact us on 0718 268 473. Thank you very much.